Good morning, everyone. It's me, Rory Paddock for RacingDaily.com. It is currently 8:22 a.m. on the 10th of April. It's a Thursday, and I've got a handful of selections that hopefully are going to do the business this afternoon. Obviously, away from this video, there are our regular Racing Daily tips. Today's selections, two selections from pundit Alan Morris, who's in red hot form, so make sure you check them out over at racing-daily.com or visit our socials where we'll be putting the links to that content obviously on there. So without further ado, I want to get straight into it. The selections come from four different meetings. We've got Hereford, Limerick over in Ireland. We then have selections from the all-weather at Lingfield and later on this evening at Newcastle. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it with Thursday's selections. It's the 10th of April, and this is On the Nod. First up, our one and only selection comes at Hereford. It's the 2 o'clock. It's the first race on the card, and I've gone for Don Virginia, a horse that showed a mixed bag of form, was slightly disappointing last time out. It is the current second favourite. It's around 2-1, I think. Let me just double check the current price. And it is around 2-1. The red hot favourite in the race is the 11-8 odds on favourite, Caught in a Storm for Kim Bailey and Matt Nichols. Don Virginia represents the O'Neill team. John Joe Jr. obviously in the saddle. Father John Joe is the trainer. Horse was seventh last time out. Prior to that, though, it finished third, second, and fourth. Decent bit of form. Obviously, the fact that it hasn't won is slightly worrying, but I think the fact that the horse is now stepping up to just under 2.5 miles is going to be the key. Big powerhouse yard. I know a lot of people have sort of a mixed bag when it comes to John Joe in terms of feelings as a rider, but I think John Joe O'Neill Jr. is perhaps the best jockey in the race. 2-1. I'm not averse to going with an odds-on favourite, but I genuinely think Caught in a Storm. That race, the one that it won, form doesn't look like anything particularly special. That was a National Hunt Flat race at Ludlow. It's subsequently gone on somewhere else. Look, it did what it had to do, and it did it in impressive fashion on the flat, in National Hunt Flat sphere. But Don Virginia, I think, to beat the favourite there in the opener at Hereford this afternoon. That's the 2 o'clock. Hereford, Don Virginia for the O'Neill team. We're then going to make a little trip to Limerick, and we're going to go to the 327, and I'm going to go with the Dancing Tree. Finished second last time out, showed marked improvement. The race that it's in today doesn't look overly special. It looks a pretty weak contest. Represents the yard of Gavin Cromwell. It's around a 7-4 favourite at the moment. You've got the likes of, Now What Do You Think and Mercury Mission. Those two are the horses that are probably closest in terms of betting. Perhaps at an each-way price, you've got Redcliffe Glen, but with only 7 runners, you're only getting the first 2 places, so not really an each-way sort of betting race. Now, what do you think? Mercury Mission both won their last races. I don't think they're the sort of horses that are going to go on and rack up a ton of victories. The Dancing Tree, decent owners in terms of the, Mrs. Russell, owns a fair few horses with Gavin Cromwell. It was only a head that it lost last time out. That was over course and distance. And I think the Dancing Tree can go one better here. That's the 327 at Limerick. The Dancing Tree, the one to beat. Sticking with Limerick, and the next race we're going to go is I think it's a maiden race. It's a maiden hurdle, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is. It's a maiden hurdle. Only 2 horses have, out of the, I think it's a 10-runner field, have raced under rules before. Not shown much. Mashallah Habibi is the current 11-10 favourite. Fell last time out, though. Prior to that, finished 5th, and 4th. Wasn't exactly pulling up trees. Might be the fact that I'm a little bit of a sucker for Harzand. The Gordon Elliott trained Johnny Carroll is the one I'm going for. Currently 7-2 out of Harzand. I don't think the horse is going to have to be anything special to win this sort of race. You know, whether or not he goes on to bigger and better things, only time will tell. But look, when you've got a Gordon Elliott horse in a race as weak as this, you've got such a big team, such a big yard who have a plethora of very good horses. Will this be a future superstar? The likelihood is probably not, but it won't need to be to win the 402. Johnny Carroll, I'm going to take on the short price favourite, and I'm hoping Johnny Carroll can do the business on debut for Sam Ewing and Gordon Elliott there in the 402 at Limerick. But I'm going to go to the all-weather and I'm going to take a trip to Lingfield. The first selections come in the 412. Two horses I really couldn't decide between either Good Day or Thaper Vic, if I'm pronouncing that correct. So what I've done is I've decided to do both of the horses in the race. I couldn't put you off either of them. Current prices for this race, um, I think they're around second or third or fourth favourite, if I just double check there. Yeah, Mr. Mojito is the current 10-3 favourite. Good Day has been backed into 4-1. Thaper Vic 9-2. Then next in the betting, you've got the likes of City Cyclone and Lil Cayenne, and it's around 10-1 bar the rest of the field. The race looks pretty open. Pretty open. Mr. Mojito won last time out, aims to make it 2 on the trot. But Thafer Vic and G'day are both course and distance winners. G'day, partnered by James Doyle. I really fancied the horse to win last time out, but it ended up finishing second. I think it can, if it produces a repeat effort, then I think it'll go even closer. And Thaper Vic, it's now off a really, really attractive mark. I like the fact that Rob Hornby is put for the ride. It's on a really decent weight, former course and distance winner. So I couldn't put anyone off either of them. So it's going to be Thaper Vic and G'day. Whether or not you back either of them or both of them or ignore me entirely, which is probably the best thing. But those two are what I like in the fourth race, the 412 at Lingfield. Sticking with Lingfield and the next race, 445. Three horses, all met last time out. Midnight at the Oasis. You've also got my selection there, which you can see on screen, which is Harb, but also Recon Mission. He finished first, second, and third last time. It was all very close. I think they all finished in less than from first to third, under a length between the three. Harb is now on a decent mark compared to those two last time. Midnight at the Oasis and Recon Mission have both gone up in the weights, and Harb has stayed the same. Hopefully, those couple of pounds difference this time around is what's going to tip the scales in favour of Peter Crate's horse. Midnight at the Oasis has won its last four races and does have Ross Ryan on board. So sort of take it on at your peril. I just think it can't surely win five in a spin, can it? Um, eventually that horse is going to have to grind to a halt at some point, and I'm hoping it's today. Harp, the one for me. Currently a decent price at around 11-2. Harp to do the business there in the 445. 11-2, an each way price as well. So a little bit of an each way bet to nothing in what is an 8-runner contest. Harp, the top weight, but the one to go with there in the 445. The last meeting is we're going to take a trip to Newcastle. Two selections from tonight's all-weather action up in the northeast. The first selection comes in the 7:30, and I'm going to go with Bow Street, another horse that's top weight, but now drops into this grade. I think it's the first time in goodness knows how long. Now in Class 5 company. Actually, sorry, no, it's class. Let me double check. Sorry, Class 6 company. Let me see the last time. So the last time this horse was in this grade um, was last year, in which it won off a mark of 65. It's now back at this grade over this course and distance and off a mark of 65. I think it's safe to say that you would be foolish not to worry about Francis Drake. for the Simon and Ed Crisford yard. That's the clear 11-4 favourite. You've then got Snow Creek for Billy Loughnane and Jack Morland. That's at 10-3. And then you've got the selection Bow Street at 5-1. I just think that Bow Street's been there and done it, whereas Francis Drake and Snow Creek are both maidens. Obviously, they can produce a lot more than potentially, than it's expected, and could be on an upward trajectory. But Bow Street 5-1, each way bet to nothing. 9 runners to finish in the top 3. I think that's fair enough. Perhaps it's a little bit of a wimp's way of doing it, but Bow Street, yeah. Kevin Philippart to 4. Daniel Muscat is in the saddle. Yeah, a recent run 13 days ago. Bow Street actually finished 4th in a race on the same night that what's the word I'm looking for? That Francis Drake. Sorry, I forgot the name of the horse. Francis Drake finished 2nd. I think Bow Street is a fair enough horse. They're both running off the same weight. Look, it's an open contest. It's a 3-year-old handicap, but Bow Street now at this grade, a decent each way bet there. And finally, the final selection comes in the 8:30. It's the last race of the day, last race on the card, and I want to go with Wyvern. Now, this is a really hotly contested race. You've got Wyvern, who I think has a great chance. Urban Dandy's been knocking on the door. Coromento won last time out, and I think that's probably the biggest danger to make it back-to-back victories. But Wyvern, it's one of those horses that's been knocking there or thereabouts. Finished 6th last time out. Wasn't exactly his best performance, but that was in a Class 5 race. It's now back at Class 6. If you look through the horse's form, the last time it was in this grade, over this course and distance, it finished 2nd. It's a previous course and distance winner. Its last win came off a mark of 59. It runs this evening off a mark of 58, so it's below its last winning mark. Obviously, it's a really competitive race, but I think Wyvern should be there or thereabouts in the 8:30 at Newcastle this evening. So today's selections, as you can see on screen, if you want to take a screenshot and you know what to avoid or what you're going to be brave enough to follow me with, then you've got Don Virginia, the Dancing Tree, and Johnny Carroll all to win their respective races. Vapovic and Good Day both to finish in the top 4. That, at the time of recording, is priced at around 1.54-1, which is just over 6-4. You've then got Harb, Bow Street, and Wyvern to make the frame, each way, respectively, at Lingfield and Newcastle. In terms of alternative bets, I'm going to be putting Don Virginia, the Dancing Tree, Johnny Carroll, Harb, Bow Street, and Wyvern in an each way lucky 63. And I'm going to be doing Don Virginia for a top 2 finish, the Dancing Tree for a top 2 finish, Johnny Carroll for a top 3 finish, Harb for a top 3 finish, Bow Street to finish in the top 4, and Wyvern to finish in the top 3. Those prices, again, at the time of recording, just gone 8:30. Those are the bets that I do with Paddy Power. If you go to the actual race, look across the top of the screen, it says horses top finish bets, and you can add them in accumulators. I'm going to be doing those in the 5-fold and the 6-fold. The 6-fold pays 13.8-1, so not a bad bet, just for a bit of interest, especially if you're only playing small stakes. But that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. I've been Rory Paddock for racingdaily.com. As always, any likes, comments, and shares very much welcome. And fingers crossed, touch wood, and good luck if you follow.